This was yesterday at Nats Park. Bryce Harper taking ground balls at first base. He's done this a couple times, but yesterday, the latest installment of this experiment maybe is Bryce Harper. Could we be seeing him go from the outfield to the infield? So that got us to thinking, what about it when players have to change positions? Let's send it over to Bill and D-Row. Mark, you right over there?
Flo?
Yeah, what about it?
Back in the day, being a utility player was kind of like, you're not good enough to be a starter.
Right.
Now,
but the utility player was to pick up the other infielders.
Exactly.
One. And then there was a fourth and fifth outfielder.
Bang.
They were doing all that.
But I just hear on a nightly basis, like Brandon Drury the other day, oh, we can put him at first base. You can.
Yeah.
Or we can stick this guy in center. Yeah, you can. But I'm here to tell you, and I'm sure you'll say the same thing, that there have been moments,
right,
a la Carlos Zambrano's no-hitter, where I'm standing out in right field going, wow, I really shouldn't be standing here right now, or maybe third base in a certain situation. So I wanted to go back to, if guys are going to start being so versatile, what were one or two things? Because when Rafael Furcal burst on the scene, I became a utility player overnight, and it was like, you're going to play first, you're going to play some right, second, third. I had different coaches, different players, different teammates over the course of my career say one or two things that I always went back to in those situations. So I'll get into it, and you can pause me, jump in whenever you want. The first thing I always went back to was my position coach, Glenn Hubbard, back with the Atlanta Braves. And he said, D-Row, you're going to be moving all over the place. You're not going to have ample time to practice everything like you did shortstop. That's all you played as a kid. So when in doubt, be an athlete. So there were certain situations where I didn't care about any fundamentals. I was just trying to get the guy out at first or the guy out at second. So let's start at first base, because I thought you did an amazing job here. This is one of Bill's blackboards. That for me, you were speaking directly right at me, Bill, because if I learned one thing at first base, and we can pause it right here, you think you could just go over to first base as a shortstop left side of the infield, play a day game in Wrigley Field, Kerry Wood on the mound in the bottom of the ninth, and he turns and picks to first base, and you're getting 9 gajillion miles an hour down your throat. You don't know how to apply the tag. But the one thing I took is the ability to manipulate the bag with my right foot and to go out and get the ball and play a shortstop. And that was something that Derek Lee really helped me with.
Well, D. Lee, number one, had good feet at first base.
He really did.
And he's a big target, which is nice. But the idea behind all
this
was make those throws
easy,
look like they're routine.
Yeah.
Because not every time. And the whole point of that would be, if I'm looking at that and I go here first and I try to reach, I have no coverage. No coverage. You can see my hand on the mat back there. But if I go like this, I cover that mat edge extremely easy. So if you have good feet as a first baseman, you have the power. And that's why I say, just don't put anybody at first base. A first baseman has the power to make the second baseman, the shortstop, and the third baseman better. And if you just put a guy over there and say, oh, you can do it, not going to work.
No, you can't do it.
Not going to work.
Work the bag. Work the bag. I love when guys take this step back. All right. Now we're going to the middle infield here. And the shifts kind of throw this off a little bit for me in today's game, because so many guys are playing what we refer to as out of position, but they're in position now. Second base, the one thing I learned, you can't be in three places at once. I can't be back picking guys at second base, being ready for the double play, and being able to get to first base on the bunt. It's just not happening. Maybe Francisco Lindor or somebody like Javi Baez can get that done, but I wasn't somebody who could. So if I'm covering first on the bunt, then that's what I'm covering.
Exactly. And the idea behind that is to keep it simple. Yeah. You saw all those second basemen covering first base, and they all looked easy and everything else, but they were stationary.
Yep.
As soon as we, in baseball, are throwing to moving targets and people on the run, we start having problems. Baseball start rolling around in the dirt. They stop.
Yeah.
People are running around the base like it's a merry-go-round. Not good. Get to your spot. Be a stationary target.
All right. Shortstop. Now, back in the day, we used to go about it a little bit differently, and I want to pause this because there's a reason I'm showing Francisco Lindor giving 2 outs. And your brother probably did this as well. I'm sure you did. today's game, so many guys are shifted that they're really not the character and the nuance of playing that position, I think, kind of gets lost. So if it were for me and it was a pull hitter up and I'm playing shortstop, okay, now I know the pull hitter's coming on. Let me fake it like I'm looking at the Jumbotron. I'm giving 2 outs to the guys in the outfield, and I've taken 4 steps to the pull side that hitter has no idea. I've completely shifted him without him.
But you shifted him on your own.
On my own.
And I'm pretty
I used to
sure
do that all the time.
I'm pretty sure
that was Walt Weiss stuff.
Pretty sure in today's game, they show him the spray chart before because every one of these guys got a note card in their pocket. Well, I play him here.
Yeah. Boom. Boom.
And then they look. So they don't necessarily know. And the other thing that you probably did was you may have moved back off the pull side 2 steps if it went 0-2 on the count. These guys don't move anymore because they're told not to.
Oh, is that a C? Is that a, what is that? I'm in position without anyone knowing. Secondly, now we can run it. Alerting the third baseman. Off speed. Didi Gregorius last night. I don't know if this still happens a lot, but I thought a play right here, great at bat by Kurt Suzuki, but that's an off-speed pitch right there where if I'm playing third base and I hear my shortstop give a little tss, that's why you play third.
You're thinking.
I want that. I want that one and a pick and a dive. All right, so those were the 3 things for me. Some of the few things I did at first base, second base, shortstop. Now at third base, Vinny Castilla. Took a lot of ground balls with him my time with the Atlanta Braves. And he always used to say to me, I don't necessarily think I agree with the fact that you should never leave your feet at third base, but he was a big believer that you shouldn't have to be diving. You should be able to play third base as deep as your arm will let you. And if you trust your arm like a guy like Alex Bregman, you could almost play it on the back grass, not cut off the shortstop. I know we talk about Matt Chapman in Oakland, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't a big believer. So for me, I like to create as much ground as third base as I could and let my arm kind of make up the difference. And then I'll just go to one thing in the outfield. Jim Edmonds, Chicago Cubs, got a chance to play outfield with him. Outfield was the toughest for me to go out there. I just felt foreign out there. So 2 things I took from Jimmy Edmonds. One was first move has got to be a drop step. It helped me. It might help a kid at home. Just real quick for depth perception, just one drop step and then pick up if you're going deep, if you're coming in. But we showed us sunballs, and the reason I showed us sunballs is Jim Edmonds used to say to me, because at Wrigley Field, they'd be standing out in right field going, man, if a ball goes up in the sun, I'm dead. Like, it's over. And he's like, D-Row, every pitch, just give a peek up at the sun. Peek, peek, peek. You do it enough over the course of 6-7 innings,
you get used to it?
Your eyes start to dilate to the point where the initial reaction is ball up, you don't immediately squint. It gives you that split second just to maybe pick it up and make a play.
Are you going to show the best play he ever made?
Yeah, show the best play just for...
Because this is the best play.
So those were things for me. Like, you're not going to sit there and take a million ground balls at first base or do that in the outfield by any stretch. But you're seeing so many guys move around that when in doubt, be an athlete, and there were certain moves that I kind of...
And the catchphrase now is the positional versatility. It kind of drives me crazy to a degree because I still think your better teams, you have a set guy playing each position. Your utility player should come in and spell somebody from time to time. Somebody goes down, fill in, go unnoticed.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of cases over there, the one thing I will argue with on Vinny Castillo, because he did it and did it well, but he's an everyday third baseman.
Yeah.
When you go over there first, I think I want to make the 2-hopper hit to me, an out at first base, and I want no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I want the 2-hopper hit to me with a man on first, a 5-4-3 double play, no ifs, ands, and buts about it. So I wanted to play shallow enough where I didn't feel like I was closed in. Because, I just played the middle for the most part, second and short, second and short, second and short, and you have a wide-angled lens when you're playing out there. And I remember the first time I went over to third base in a big league game, I'm standing there, I'm looking, I'm going,
I'm in a tunnel.
I felt claustrophobic. So then you start backing up until you get more comfortable. But then you understand that 2-hopper down the line, if it's a bang-bang play at third, I didn't like making that.
Yeah.
I wanted to play shallow enough because I still believe more times than not, outs recorded by infielders, they're hit pretty much in your happy zone anyway. And they're routine, and they're meant to be routine.